we did say border security being a critical component of national security, which is aimed at regulating the movement of people and goods while preventing illegal activities such as human trafficking and smuggling. In the most recent incident, the Border Management Authority officials had intercepted 2 groups of foreign nationals. This was at OR Tambo International Airport, in what the agency believed were attempts linked to human trafficking, irregular migration and visa fraud. These interceptions, carried out as part of heightened festive season security operations, underscore the continuing need for vigilance and robust measures at the nation's borders. Earlier on, I hope we're able to establish that connection now. We're chatting on border security, and joining me now is Willem Els, who is a senior training coordinator of the ENACT Programme from the Institute for Security Studies. Willem, I hope you're able to hear me this time. All right, certainly seems like you can. I started off by asking you, we know what the problems are. We've often spoken about porous borders, but what needs to be done because it seems like the criminals are not letting up. There's still interceptions relating to allegations of human trafficking and other issues that we're dealing with at our ports of entry.
Good morning to you. Yes, what we see is with our borders and our porous borders, I mean, it's like you mentioned, it's been a long time coming, and it's a problem that has been highlighted for quite some time. Now we see that your borders, especially the OR or the OR Tambo Airport that is in question now, that it's for long been a target by your organized crime syndicates because of opportunity, because of various other reasons as well. For instance, the resources, as also the understaffed nature of our authorities there, but also the very high levels of corruption that are prevalent there. So these syndicates, they use big amounts of money, and then they exploit the vulnerability of the state-embedded actors there. And at the end of the day, it is a free-for-all for them. They seem to be one step ahead of law enforcement that's always trying to catch up. And that is the situation that we are currently in at this moment.
And I mean, Willem, the trends shift all the time. The trends change all the time. What trends are we observing now, not just in South Africa, but when we look at global border security threats, in particular over the past couple of years?
Yeah, if you look at that, for instance, if you look at the Africa Organized Crime Index, we see that human trafficking and human smuggling are very prevalent. There's a rise in that across the continent, but also across the globe, if you look at the international index. So it seems that these syndicates, they are making a lot of money. They are exploiting, of course, your vulnerable areas, and South Africa is no exception, being a target. We see that currently this morning it broke again, where there are some South Africans that were rescued in Thailand again, where they've been trafficked there by the triad syndicates. So it is something that is ongoing. It is something as long as you have the conditions in countries like South Africa and some of our neighboring countries. We see that also some people from Namibia and Zimbabwe have also been rescued in Thailand. So they are being targeted. We look at the socioeconomic challenges that we see here. We also have quite of a challenge with our law enforcement and our judiciary at the moment. So they exploit these weaknesses, and then they prey on these victims.
And I mean, for those who've been able to get through into these countries, I mean, what is the next step? I know in particular here in South Africa, if it's on road, I mean, the Lindela Repatriation Center, for example, is always, throughout the year, is always packed to capacity, having to deal with those situations. Just talk us through perhaps, I mean, the process that South Africa actually has to go through now to ensuring that, these persons or unwanted persons are taken back to wherever it is that they come from.
Yeah, of course, you've got a various sets of legislation that is actually governing it. And also you've got international treaties, international instruments that also guide us in how to do that. And these instruments are there to protect, of course, the human rights and every right of the people there. But also these people here in South Africa, once they've been arrested, of course, they are being ferried off to the places like Lindela. Then the process of extradition, of deportation starts, and that is sometimes a very long long process that takes place. What we see here, what happened now at OR Tambo, for instance, we see that your airlines have got a certain responsibility before they actually allow people to board to South Africa. Passengers, then they have to make sure that they got the valid visa, and also they must make sure that they will be allowed into the country and that their bona fides are right, correct. So what happened here, we see that these two groups were stopped. We see that some of them is apparently has got some falsified or some fake visas. So that remains now the responsibility of the airline. So what happens now? The airline is being fined, but also they are responsible for the repatriation or the flight out. So these people are now kept in custody. Processes are being followed. Once it's been processed, then this airline has to fly these people back to their country of origin at their own cost. So those are basically the two processes.
And I guess it makes one wonder, how common are these attempts involving human trafficking, your irregular migration or visa fraud at, in particular, major international airports? It's so risky, but people do it anyway.
They do, and that's part of the desperation. You see South Africa as part of the southern route or the southern destination, if you look at Africa, but also at your Asian or South Asian countries like Bangladesh, for instance. They want to come to South Africa. We see that also in the recent past, there were several busts where up to 100 Ethiopian nationals were actually captured and arrested or rescued in certain instances here in the Gauteng area, and that is ongoing investigations. We see that these syndicates are actually thriving on bringing these people in at a cost to the people, because those people, especially, let's look at for instance Ethiopia. Ethiopia is currently quite volatile in conflict. Many of these migrants are from your northeastern part, where you had the civil war. It's unstable. There's not a lot of prospects for them. They are severely overcrowded there. So these people, some of them are being lured here by false promises of job opportunities. Some of them are paying actually to get here, and then under false pretenses on their way here, they are being ambushed, and then they became smuggled. But also we have some of them that pay their way in front, but also they know that when they are here, they have a contract that should they then arrive in South Africa, they will, for a certain period of time, work in the sweatshops at no cost in order to pay off their debt. So South Africa became a land of opportunity for many of our northern neighbors and the countries up north. And as long as that perception is there, that South Africa is the Ethiopia of these people, where they will find a new life and opportunities, then we will have this problem with us.
Willem, thank you very much indeed. Always a conversation that we have during this time, and we have a number of these organizations that, try to, I guess, step up their game during this time, because with a lot of travel that is taking place, they're bound to come across some of these. Thank you very much. Willem Els, who's the Senior Training Coordinator of the ENACT Programme from the Institute for Security Studies. Thanks indeed for joining us. All right.